games from Talisman Soviet player style, he maybe goes as usual for 3 conscripts. And I think about Tumi will go then, I guess, maybe Maxims to defend their own fuel. I guess it's easier to defend if you have a MG, not only with conscripts, and there we go, the game starts.
Alrighty, so let's do a little intro here. Hello everyone and welcome to a round 2 game here. Finnish Pride Parade versus Invictus. We've already spoken about this. You may see NS here for Ninja Squad on Tumi's name. I can assure you he is playing for Finnish Pride Parade today. Ninja Squad are currently fighting another match at the moment. We have, of course, the map Rails and Metal, very popular 2v2 map. We've seen some really good games on this, and normally we see it with a lot of indirect fire, the Calliopes, elephants, all these kind of things. Today we're actually void of a lot of those commanders, and we're going to be treated to some non-meta action. Speaking of non-meta action, we have a double MG build coming out straight away from Legendary. I think he's going to try and put a little bit of a stop to the early game infantry coming in from Finnish Pride Parade, and this is an interesting one. I actually like the start of this. We see both Axis teams. They're not traditionally going for the right hand side, as we see they're both heading to the left hand side of the map, so they're going to be working together in good synergy. MGs will be suppressing those conscripts, and the Grenadiers there will be able to do all the damage whilst the suppress hopefully force some squads away. So they could be getting a very strong start with this build. It also shows that the players are communicating, which is something we really love to see in successful 2v2 teams.
Yeah, also this starts for Legendary means he will build a third MG, and then he can take up very fast to get a 2-2 out of Flame Half-Tracks. A small vehicle for Axis and early is a nice choice as well. We see already Commander pick from Talisman. He went for the shot with the ISU Commander. It's a fast pick. In the first minute you already picked his Commander.
I think that's a sensible choice, really. I think one of them had to go for the ISU, and they know that they're against double austere. I think they have a vague idea of what's capable for them to play against at the moment, and an ISU is a sensible choice from one of them. It does mean, though, that we don't have a chance of seeing the KV2 anymore. That leaves 2 commanders to be picked, really, from Tumi, and whether he goes for Advanced Warfare or the Shock Commander.
I think he will go for the Shock Commander that he can get some 100mm mortars and maybe get an arty. Why not? You can try it.
Yeah,
Enemies don't have a Stuka bomb.
Artillery is a good one, yeah, and also the Loiter Strafe from the
Yeah, the ISU Strike is very strong. He can wipe squads. Actually, this ISU Strike is more effective from the other commander with 10 or 12 CPs. Different one. Also, we see on the bottom side, Tumi went for his first Maxime. He has 2 Pioneers, 2 Conscripts, and now his first Maxime to protect his own fuel. I guess we'll put his Maxime in the house in the bottom right.
It was a nice attempt at an early game push there from Talisman, but the double MGs have actually done a really good justice to themselves by actually forcing off all of the units that Talisman was using there for the early game cutoff. So they've completely thwarted that idea that came in there from the allies, and they're going to be rewarded by having a stable munitions and fuel income at the start of the game. Early flame upgrade on Talisman there means no minesweeping yet.
Also, we see the other Austria player, Needy, is having a sniper now on the field. At the same time, Talisman has a sniper as well out. Both players didn't shoot one single one, so let's see who can counter-snipe better, the Austria player or the Soviet player. While that's Legendary's taking up his T1 and building his T2 building for maybe to getting a scout car to counter the sniper as well.
The scout car is going to be a really good one, because yeah, I mean, just having a look at what is available, the scout car is very good on this map, especially when it gets to veteran C2. Then it has good vision across the center areas. If they're going to go maybe tier 3 and they're getting something like the Stugs, scout cars are like kind of essential for allowing you to just pick off those targets at good range. What has happened here, just as you've left the match, is that Are we still both in?
I'm still in.
Okay, no worries, we'll ignore that.
That's strange.
We'll ignore that it says that. It does some strange things every now and again. A good push here from Talisman, though. I'm not really sure what happened. It looks like the sniper is being completely uncountered at the moment and is just picking away at the MGs from Legendary. He doesn't have anything to push right now because of this triple MG build. So he's relying purely on Insanity to provide those pushes to force away snipers and maxims and everything else, and that just hasn't happened yet. So it looks like actually Finnish Pride Parade have a very good start to this game now.
Yeah, seems like the Allies going for this first triple victory cap, and we see both snipers are hiding at the moment in the middle. Needy is walking around so he can't get show up. The middle one, Talisman, hides the sniper to get the counter sniper. And seems like Talisman has the feeling that there will be a fast tank out because he already tashed up a teammates for his conscripts. There we go, the two on the top side versus the conscript on the field.
Yeah, 18/8 is a very good choice, and I think it's also quite standard if you are going to be going with the conscript build, because you're going to know that if the scout card does come up, and it is very effective against the conscripts, especially at those range, you want to be able to kind of rush in and get that 18/8 off, really stop the scout car from being potent. This is a nice one though. Look at this, the scout car may catch the snipers off guard here, and these snipers were lining up for a counter snipe on Insanity's sniper. So the scout car possibly just miss it. No, here we go. He's actually going to try and go in for the sniper. 18 nades can be released from Talisman. He does get the 18 nade off. Scout car doesn't go back for the sniper. It knows it's in a pretty dodgy situation right now. Needs to go back for some repairs.
But Needy sniper is dead, so Talisman got it. He got the sniper.
Talisman got the counter snipe.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
he sniped the Austria sniper.
Okay, so yeah, that was good from Talisman. I mean, he was waiting for that for a long time, so it doesn't surprise me that he got the counter snipe. He only had to really see that unit once for that to be counter sniped. It was a bit more difficult for Insanity, of course. He has to take down 2 models with that sniper in order to actually kill the Soviet sniper. So a little bit of a loss for him. I think he's going to be upset that he doesn't have the sniper there. A great play from Toomey. That sniper is going to be devastating to the Axis with pretty much no counter right now. There's no mortars that I can see from either player. Here we go. One is building from Insanity. That's a sensible choice after losing the sniper. If you don't win that sniper battle the first time and you're not Dev M, then maybe you should consider getting something else to counter.
Yeah, for Jimmy we have already 2 mortars, so a lot of inward fire, and also he built some mines in the middle one. So if the Axis want to go very straight ahead with his light vehicles, you get ancient damage and then the console can finish it. We see the tashing up for Talisman. He built his C3 and already building now his C17. Let's have a look on this. Toomey's building as same point the C3 as well. And for the Axis we have, I guess, only 1 pack. Yeah, we have 1 pack from Legendary in the middle victory point.
Interesting here, snipers coming up to the left VP to try and get the MG, but of course the scout car's waiting there as well, so there's a very high risk the scout car may go in for a chase here. There we go, you can see it's starting to turn now to gear up. It needs to be careful though, because there are more conscripts there that do have 18 aids. It's a nice push, but he may be overextending here. Talisman doesn't actually go in for the 18 aid though, he actually runs back behind a wall.
While this, the Flamer half-track hit the mine in the middle victory point to push away the Soviet mortar. But yeah, the mine device it, so Flamer half-track hits mortar damage and both Soviet mortars are still on the field and can shoot.
Oh. I'm seeing in the chat that the Relic servers have gone down. I don't know if this is going to create problems for us. Maybe the players are going to end up dropping shortly.
Careful.
It would be a little unfortunate if that is the case.
Just for me, at which time you are? I'm 9 minutes and 16 seconds.
Yep, that's what I'm at the moment.
Right. Yeah, the G70 is ruling in the middle. The pack can't shoot because of the shot blockers from the small house in the middle victory point, so you have to repositioning his pack to counter the T70. And Talisman goes for a second sniper.
Okay, so we do have confirmation that the Relic servers are down, so this is probably going to crash now at any second. We're just going to go full cinematic mode. You guys can have something to enjoy while we wait for these servers to crash. I'll just follow the journey of this T-70 as it takes things down. That's a shame. We'll see how that is going to play out. Gaming Bro will have to sort out how the teams are going to arrange to replay this. Of course, we have to get some kind of update on the Relic servers. Perhaps I'll be able to contact someone from Relic and just find out what is happening there. This is a pretty interesting engagement here. Scout car is going to try and take on the T-70. T-70's popping auto repair because the cannon is now not working. 18 aid from the conscripts though. T-70 doesn't make it out. Scout car actually was microed incredibly well to do that. Now it's in risk of getting destroyed by the conscripts though. I always love watching this with no I always love watching this with no kind of user interface. It's really, really nice and interesting.
At the moment, Talisman getting a Su-76 to counter the flame effect in the 222 after he lost it to 70. Here in the mortars. Let's have a look on the mortar on the Soviet player. I don't like Soviet mortars, as we can see he had like 5 minutes or 6 minutes out with both Soviets mortared, and he has only one kill. One single kill with 2 mortars. If they would be USA mortar, they would have victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's still nice to get the 2 mortars though, to be honest. This map has always been kind of indirect fire based. You always see it on here, and especially, you know, once those early game engagements finish, and you always end up with one player, you know, Axis go one side, Allies go the other. Both teams tend to fight for the central points and just try and flank each other inadvertently, but oh, nice double nade there on the half track. Doesn't quite get the kill. But very, very low. Could be finished off by Lars fire. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of indirect fire in this game. That's why you may be right that artillery would be the pick here. I'm just waiting for this game to crash, though. I'm surprised that we're still in with the servers down like this. I don't know how that's happened.
How much delay is on the games? 5 or 8 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 minutes behind, so but what I'm interested about is that the servers are down and that we're still relaying it to each other, so however this is happening, I don't know. I mean, replays aren't actually they're not actually like visual replays. What a replay is it's just a set of commands that play out. So, you know, it just stores all the commands. It stores everything you click in a kind of like, you know, program file. And then it just replays it, and it's actually you can actually get minor differences in replays, you know, just to the way that the physics engine works. Things can happen in replays that didn't really happen in the game. You know, any aesthetic things like trees falling down or things. You know what I mean?
All right.
You know, even like pathing can take slightly different ways every now and again. But I mean, I actually wonder if AI would just take over and start doing its own thing. Then we end up just kind of casting this AI game, you know, just, you know, could be interesting. Non-meta AI versus AI would be interesting to see how the game plays it out. Here we have the tier 3 build. I think we were expecting to see the Stug on this map. It's a very, very good map for Stugs. They have good long sight range, although you do not use it like this. There we go, playback over. You could tell that the game had crashed then when that thing was just rearing into its opponents. So yeah,
it's very sad, man.
It is. Let's try and get some official word from Relic on servers. I may be able to call Carl.
Yeah, the question is what happened now, if they just should make the game again, or we have already round 1 finished, so we have a winner, or nobody knows.
This is it. I think given the circumstances of a server crash, you couldn't really award. I mean, it's not my decision to make. Personally, I would have said you couldn't really award one of the players based on that, and they should play again. Is what I would say. It is an exceptional circumstance. Typically with rules, if the game has gone longer than 5 minutes, you would, you know, and someone drops, then you would kind of award, the win to the player who is winning in that situation. But obviously that can't be done here, so they would need to play that again. I've actually just realised Kyle is on holiday. So he's going to be absolutely useless
No.
to call right now. I'll see if he has another Skype I can call. 1 second. Okay, he's not picking up. It is his holiday, so, you know. I know you're on holiday, but servers are down in the middle of our tournament. Are down in the middle
great one.
of our tournament.
And especially in a good game, and it was completely open this game.
Is there anyone I can notify? What are the odds of that happening? You know what I mean? It's very rare, to be honest, that these servers do go down unplanned. So yeah, servers are bugging out. I've put a request to Carl to give me a number. To call, but maybe someone can fix that. God knows what's happening. I hope it gets fixed soon, though. It looks like I may have connected. I don't know if you're seeing that too. You?
I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm connected.
Just to start the game.
Okay, I mean I'm connected again at the moment, so hopefully that. Oh no, there we go. It has gone down again. Now it's connected. It just needs to stabilize. Give it like 5 minutes or so. Gaming Bro, maybe you can give us some update on what's going to happen here. How are we going to rearrange all these matches that have just gone horrendously wrong? Lasorcison, he always actually picks up when he's here. Even on the weekends and stuff, he sorts out issues. So I wouldn't ever really confuse Kyle with with what Relic do, because Kyle does put a lot of work into things. There are barriers, I think, that can't be crossed to go further, though.
I guess we have some times now you can look on the cup tree to see how it goes on. There are some new results.
Yeah, I will just take a look at that to see. I mean, results. Stark wants me to text Carl that he owes him a plus 40 streak. Well, were you playing auto match? In which case, yeah, you'll. If the servers go down, I don't know if you actually get the. I don't know if you actually get the loss. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, so these are the scores at the moment. Kotu Italia, 2-0 Rum and Coke team. They're going to be playing Gold Path 2. That's going to be an interesting bracket here. I think these are the seeds as well that you can see. So, you know, seed 18 is going to be playing against seed 2. I assume that's seed 2. I would like to think that it's been seeded that way. I may be wrong, considering Barton here is seed 8. That doesn't seem right. So maybe ignore me there. But yeah, I mean, some interesting ones. Ninja Squad Sky Captain, I think we were pretty certain that they were going to 2-0 their series previously against PGA. Finnish Pride Parade Invictus, we're going to see game 1 again repeated from that. Hopefully, We Make Monsters don't have a final from ID or Battalion of Gamers yet. So yeah, tons of things going on. I don't really know what to do. Maybe we should just have a discussion on what should we talk about. You were telling me a story actually whilst we were sound checking about something you did last weekend.
No, man.
Yeah, we won't go into that. That was pretty dry conversation. But yeah, I mean, we can have a little
talking
bit.
a moment with Needy, and it seems like he has still some problems to reconnect, and it's strange because I guess you and me, we are fine now. I clicked on reconnecting and I'm in the game. I can start. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Seems like the player aren't ready.
It needs to be obviously ready for the players. We'll let them notify us of when that is happening. So let me know when
Yeah,
it's
seems
working
like maybe
again.
the lobby is working, but not the servers, because if I click on watch games, 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 randoms, there are 0 games.
Right, okay. It's weird that we're connected, no one else in the world is, but whatever. What I'll do is I'm just going to ping up some commands quickly for everybody in chat, and we'll go through the teams and the tournament information and stuff for people, so so that we all know what's going on. So I'm just going to pop open the tournament information page. Have a quick look. So yeah, I mean, this is you guys can see this for yourselves as well. What's going on today? So of course, best of 3 matches in the 2v2s, and let's just have a look at some of the commanders that at least are considered non-meta. So for the USF, and this is, you know, only 3 commanders can be picked for any of the factions: USF, UKF, OKW, Mechanized Company, Rifle Company, and Recon Support. So I mean, my choice here would nearly always be Rifle Company. I don't know how you feel about that, Sturmpanther. I mean, the Rifle Company is used to be incredibly meta. It used to be one of the most meta things you could possibly pick. I'm actually surprised to see Rifle Company as non-meta and Airborne as meta.
Yeah, but at the moment there are no air. But for the US air player, the rifle company, it's the EC8 commander, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, EC8s are not bad, but you still have to take. So you can get a EC8 who is a little, he's okay versus infantry and he's okay versus tanks. Or you go for a good counter, you get a Sherman versus infantry or Jackson versus tanks. So for my own position, I don't like EC8s.
Well,
I don't play
they're
it at
just a
all.
strong all-rounder. I mean, and also the white phosphorus is still incredibly good.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
phosphor is awesome. The
yeah.
phosphor is awesome.
I'm
Let's see,
surprised.
but I
You
hope
know,
we see some recon support company. It would be fun to see some
yeah,
props down.
I would be very up to seeing recon support. It is a good commander still, you know. I don't think the Greyhound is particularly valuable anymore. However, like, you know, the strike that comes from the infrared pathfinders is like the INR pathfinders is very, very good. You know, we've already talked about how it can be good against OKW forward positions and things like that. Also, you know, that 900 manpower call-in you should never really be able to afford playing competitively. Who stacks up 900 manpower in a competitive game? You know, that's a bit of an
Yeah.
asking price, really. You know, but you do get a lot for it with those paratroopers. Some of which I believe can come down with bazookas, and it's good fun. UKF though, Commando Regiment, Royal Artillery, and Royal Engineer Regiment, and this is why I think Barton and Price are going to have an absolute field day in this tournament, because, you know, these are all the commanders that Barton has, that Price has abused. You know, we've seen awful strategies from the Royal Engineer Regiment with the AVRE. You know, just pure engineer spam, basically. From UKF, you know, just pure spam into Piets, and just the AVRE. It just brutalizes everything. So I do hope we get to see that, because it was a very interesting strategy. Would nice to see Artillery Regiment. Commandos, again, very good commander, just not particularly used at the moment. OKW, and you guys can just see here. Oh, for some reason that's not showing on the screen. There we go. OKW, Luftwaffe, again, very nice commander. Firestorm, Overwatch. This is problematic for me. This kind of shows that the problems that OKW have, because they really do need some kind of call-in tank to be available in that loadout. We saw that last game, you know, where they just couldn't get into a map control position where they could actually get fuel. They needed to have something to call in from off-map, and it's something that, like, Special Operations does give in, but of course that is classed, unfortunately, as meta. Do we have any information
you can
about
try
servers
to invite
yet?
me. Didi talked to me that they are starting again the game.
Okay.
Maybe it's working.
Well, I'm going to invite you. It's not actually letting me invite you, so I'm going to restart the game quickly. And then hopefully do that. Apologies to everyone who's watching. I mean, it's not really my place to apologize, it's Relic's, but servers did go down then. It's obviously going to cause some problems between players, but hopefully everybody is going to be okay with that to play their games again. I just hope no one was like, 40 minutes into a game when that happened, because that would be really, really unfortunate.
Seems like the game is online. It says in 5 minutes the game is ready.
Okay.
Me versus Needy, Legendary and Talisman.
Who classified Airborne as meta? Someone who stopped playing in 2015. Well, I mean, I certainly don't think it's meta at all. Do you know what I mean? I would rather see Rifle Company out and Airborne in. But yeah, it's because the only thing that Rifle Company really had changed was the kind of ability to speed the units up. That was a replacement for oh gosh, what was it used to have before? Yeah, flamers. So is that right? No, not flamethrowers. What was it that it had?
Which one?
Previously, Rifle Company. Oh no, it was the veterancy.
Rifle Company
you could vet the infantry.
Flamers for all rifles.
Yep.
For all rifles, and the moment you only get for Etappen troops your flamers. I can spoil a little bit. I see the moment not the game, but the loading screen that they changed the tactic for Invictus. Because they don't play vanilla style anymore, they play with one OKW player and one Austria versus double Soviets. So we see maybe a new tactic.
Yeah, that's going to be the psychology behind this, isn't it? Really, is that they do have to kind of maybe consider switching strategies now that it's already been revealed in that previous game. Here we go. We are loading back into the game. Finnish Pride Parade versus Invictus. This time Invictus loads in with a commander missing. So typical.
It seems like you don't have it.
Yeah, the switching factions is nice. Yeah, I do like that, to be honest. I think he's going to be a little upset that he's missing a commander there. Kind of narrows it down for Toomey and Talisman. Hopefully they actually manage. I mean, if Axis keep their same strategy they had before, which was the double MG start with the other player taking, I think it was Legendary who was going for the MGs. Insanity was actually running with the infantry. And that could actually work well with OKW as well, because of course they're going to be getting those STGs up. There'll be much better flanking. It'd be nice to pop battle grouper, get the ISGs, kind of leaving Invictus to go, like better options for tier 2. You can be getting up to scout cars and things early on. So hopefully
they just have to take.
Sorry, Karen.
They have just to take care about it, because this time he don't has normal grenadiers who can Faust. So if the Soviet player goes for fast MG, with MG play you have no Grenadier to Faust, and OKW can't Faust in the first minute, so a smart MG can rule the game in the early.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Last game I think we didn't see the scout car, did we, from either of the Soviet players?
Yeah.
So I think we both
only the sniper and the Maxine.
Yeah, so I think this is a difficult map for scout car. I think I've never really seen too many effective strategies with it, although some people can play it very well. Tier 2 seems to be better for the right hand side. Just on the right hand side the Maxims are very, very good. There's lots of closed off areas that require like vaulting micro to actually avoid that kind of thing. It slows the squad down. The Maxim can usually suppress. We did see last game as well, something really nice. I always appreciate when I see players do this, is they build a sandbag in the fuel area on the right hand side. And what they do is they build the sandbag going across the edge of the territory here. And what it means is, because like when they're trying to cap and they're down here in the little trench area, they're actually not benefiting from cover because of the the distance between them and the green area here. So by building that green sandbag, they do two things. They're actually able to benefit green cover whilst capping, and also if any squad does come over, and vault into the trench they can't actually cap the point easily. You know, they're actually trapped. They're forced to like vault over it. So MGs that are sitting on this fence here are actually really good, because as soon as a unit vaults that, the MG picks them and gets them into suppression quickly. And it just makes defending this right hand side like really good for Soviets if you do have the Maxim there. So, you know, tier 2 very strong on that right hand side. But here we go. For those people who don't know, or maybe watching this at a later stage, we did just have game 1 of this crash due to the relic servers going down. So the game has been restarted. This is officially game 1, although technically game 2. So we're already having a little bit of a switch up here. No tier 2 from Talisman on the right hand side straight away this time. He's going to go in with 2 conscripts as the start of his build. Let's check out what else is happening. MG coming from Invictus, legendary. I think this is what we were expecting to see.
Yeah, and it changed. We have a normal T1 from the Austria player and OKW player. It seems like they're still playing to save points. So the Axis says, we don't be aggressive, we don't split us, we play middle and left, it's our position, we don't attack. Or if I'm wrong, I don't know. We're looking at the Sturmpanther. Yes, the Sturmpanther caps the mission point. He's not rushing for the right houses.
Yeah, I think they're sticking to their same plan that they had in the last game. I actually think it's one of the best things they could do, really. I always say Axis should play to the left-hand side. There's a lot of open ground where Axis kind of excel with those long-range engagements. Plenty of open cover. Just kind of, you know, less for allies to take advantage of, which is really nice. Too many players from the Axis get caught up going on the right-hand side, and then it's really difficult from them to come back from. We don't see that double MG this time, though. No double MG. They're going to play with a bit more infantry. Same style of strategy. And an interesting one as well, you know, there was no tier whatsoever from either of the allied players. Both of those going for some early conscripts. So they're trying to rush the territories, which I think is a really good idea. Trying to get to some good engagement positions straight away. Sturmpanther is here focusing on the engineers, do push them away. But look at this low health squad. 2 conscripts firing down on them. It's crossing negative cover to get away. Dangerous retreat.
By that, Tumi get a second Pioneer out and build it to 2. So we will see some Maxim, maybe 1 Maxim, and then he will go for the same strategy like the last game for double Soviet mortar to get some indirect fire on it.
Yeah, the Maxim is probably going to be the one that comes out for here, but I also do hope we see the mortar again. I actually think the mortar could be really good on that left side, because it was the MGs that really got them in the early game previously, and you know, 2 MGs would be catastrophic here. The nice thing is that now we're seeing infantry rather than support weapons, so a double MG build may not get the same accuracy if, you know, they're moving around as much, but it's still going to be useful at constantly keeping the Axis infantry moving. A lot better synergy.
Why that we saw in the middle a conscript wipe for Talisman, who was standing in the middle on the street, retreated through negative cover, and 2 Volksgrenadier just wiped 1 conscript from Talisman.
Wow, that's a really nice pickup then for Invictus. I mean, this game is already going so differently from the game we saw before, you know, just with that switch up to OKW and Austria together. You know, they're having a much better game together. And if they can actually take this building on the right-hand side of fuel, they'll be in a very good position to take 3 VPs. We're seeing a late retreat here from Pioneers. There we go, Legendary does pick it up, hits the retreat button straight away. Tumi's Maxim coming to the right-hand side. Going to get a nice suppression on both of these Grenadier squads, making it near impossible for Axis to take the building. Nice switch in with the engineers. Pivotal building. Flame damage on the Volksgrenadiers. Good push from the Allies.
While this OKW player chooses to stage up, he is building a medic truck in their own field near the fuel. This time this medic truck is 8th point. The allies will not be happy to attack it. It's too far away, they can't kill it with mortar very fast or infantry, so it's on a safe spot for the Axis. But the Axis are in a position. The victory points at the moment are for the Axis. Yeah,
massive turnaround for everything that's going on at the moment. do we have any other signs of teching yet? So what have we got from Talisman? He's going for tier 1, so I wonder if the sniper's going to come out from him again. We did see a really good game. There we go, sniper is actually in the build at the moment. And we saw a really good game last time from the sniper. Legendary probably not going to pick it this time. This is going to be an interesting dynamic here. Not sure why Insanity left this building though. This is going to be a good opportunity for the flamethrower to really weaken the Sturmpanther here. They're probably not going to be able to wipe. 2 models drop instantly. No retreat yet from Insanity. That's very, very late. And now we have a dangerous situation. Tooney could actually go around and maybe even plant a demo charge on the battle grouper. He's coming up to that amount of munitions at present. Hopefully Axis can make use of their tech advantage. They do have kind of more resources in the early game. More VPs as well. Very good start from them.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to switching. Now the allies getting the left fuel while the Axis getting the right fuel. So interesting spotting because you have your medic targeting left fuel, so normally you want to get the left fuel at your side. And we see the commander pick from the last game as well, Talisman, went again for his shock and the ISU. The Oster player already teched up T1 and building T2 up as well, and the scout car is on the field.
Scout car is a good choice, especially with all this mobile infantry as well. Scout car is going to be a really, really good complement to all of that. It's a nice push from the allies, but of course it is being now returned by Invictus. They're going to start to get control again. 3 Grenadiers here, they should easily be able to get around this Maxim. Maxim's not going to be able to suppress all of those squads. I think it only can suppress really 1 squad at a time. And as we do have the tech up, now rifle nades could be coming out to constantly dissuade these Maxims.
Yeah, also this Scout car is there, so Maxim has no chance. He has to full retreat. He has no pack, so at the moment the only counter for the allies are conscripts who are in and try to stick a T-nade on the 222.
And they do actually have the 18-nade tech.
Talisman has, let me check about Tooney. Does Tooney have it as well? No, Tooney doesn't have a T-nades, so it's only Talisman who can stick. And at the moment the Axis are in a great spot. They have the 2 in the middle, they have 2 LNG grants already upgraded in the middle house. Make a lot of pressure as well to cut off everything. That is kind of trouble, I would say.
There is good positioning here, but I mean, Axis are going to get behind the lines. We could see a retreat here from the Grenadiers. They've got to cross a lot of negative cover in order to get home. Maxim looks like it's repositioning, going to try fire on the Grenadier. This should go down, I think. Actually, getting green cover from the wall is actually looking like it may survive the retreat. No, but the conscripts pick him up at the last minute. Very, very tense little retreat there. Yeah. Shame, and an upgraded one too. So it needs to be very, very careful. Preservation in this game is everything. We don't want to be losing squads like that. I mean, this is one thing. It is, yeah. 2v2 is actually, I would say, more brutal than 1v1 games for retreat path cutoffs, because, you know, if 2 players are communicating, you know, and especially as we saw Axis, you know, they were right down in these strategic points down here, and you know that you've got to have a huge retreat, you know, right back to your base. It's going to go through enemy lines, and both players need to be communicating, you know, is it safe to retreat? Are you able to cut off your opponent's retreat as well, which may have been the initial intention. But you know, you never late retreat when you're deep in enemy territory, because you're basically asking for squad wipes there. Yeah, the street, especially on this map, the street in the middle with all negative cover is just terrible. If you just retreat, almost every time your squad's gonna die. So you have to take very careful. If you push over your own munition points, you cross the street and you're in a big danger position. Talisman got his heal in his base, but PV not, and that's what I don't like in this map. For example, both headquarters are far away, so if you want to get heal, both players have to take a heal. You can't get only one heal for both players. Yeah, that is one of the difficult ones, but of course with the battle grouper there, I mean, they're both focusing on that left side anyway, so healing shouldn't be too bad. They can both just kind of go to the battle grouper. The added problem with the battle grouper, though, of course, is that if the allies spot that that is there, they have a real big focal point for indirect fire. So we should expect maybe to see something like a Katusha come out on the field and just constantly barrage that point. We also have the opportunity, do we have, yeah, artillery can still be used. So if we do see Toomey go shock army and the artillery comes in, they'll be able to displace the battle grouper as a retreat point very, very easily. But at the moment, I don't think they're actually in a strong enough position where they could protect that artillery. Both Invictus...
We have now installed a field hospital at headquarters.
Yeah, I mean, actually, no, now he's OKW. They don't have both opportunities to kind of get anti-artillery measures. But, you know, Invictus could go Luftwaffe supply and quite easily deal with any artillery pieces that come up on the map. So, fingers crossed Invictus Legendary doesn't pick a commander just yet, and then has the opportunity to counter shock if that does come around.
Exactly. While does the both Grenadiers on the left mission point used a great rifle nade and almost wiped the Soviet mortar from Toomey. He survived with very less HP. He's healing at the moment his base, his mortar. And we see T-70 coming up from Talisman in the south, right.
Okay, so 10 minutes 50 for the T-70. Could be considered a little bit late, however, still going to be very, very useful. You can see the kind of builds at the moment from the Axis. There is AT on the field, they do have the scout car as well, so T-70 does need to be careful, but it's a very, very good harassment tool. It's going to be very, very good against the masses of infantry that are around. The scout car looks like it's trying to line up a couple of shots. It's well protected by the Volksgrenadiers and the Grenadiers there. But look, there's two flamers coming in from Toomey right now. The scout car looks like it may be going in for a little bit of a dive there.
Puck shot, no, Puck doesn't manage to get a second shot on it. While we have to catch on it, there's a demo charge in the middle house, so if the Axis go again with his Grenadiers on it, he can blow it up. On the hostile player, Legendary taked up his T3, so he has except in 1 minute to get a Stück out with his fuel, or Ostwind.
I don't know what I'd prefer here, to be honest. I think Panzer IV is a nice balance of, you know, what those two actually do. I don't really know if Stug is called for at the moment with tier 3.
Yes, you don't have to, but he has accept, so you can just wait and look how the allies play. If you see a second T-70, C-76, but if the allies playing only infantry, like that Talisman called in a shock troop for the right side, maybe we see Ostwind. Ostwind did some good pack play, can work on this map as well.
Yeah, I do agree with that actually. Ostwind is a very good unit. I've actually seen it used in a couple of games very effectively recently, namely by Jeslin. So it is a really good one for the OKW, sorry, for the Ostiff, OKW. But yeah, I don't know, at the moment things looking pretty stable. Commanders need to be picked so it starts to tip it, and I don't really know who's going to pick first. I think Toomey should pick first, really. Invictus isn't really in a position where he needs to do anything right now. Axis have really good control. I think they're just waiting for something to come from allies where they can say, okay, let's provide the counter. This is a pretty good position for Axis to be in, I think. Which maybe they're not used to normally. You know, you're always trying to pick something with Axis just to kind of stay alive.
At the moment, it's quite comfortable for the Axis. They say we have our fuel, we have our mission point, we are safe at the moment. There's no big flanks coming in at the moment. So it's a standard at the moment. They hold in the middle. That's why I guess Toomey decided to start up his D4 building to get a Katusha to shoot constantly in the middle versus the Packs, versus the MGs in the middle victory point to annoy the Axis players. And we see a commander pick from Insa Needy, the OKW player. He goes for a Goliath Doctrine.
Oh,
interesting choice.
I really like this, I do have to say. I actually think that the Stuka, the sector assault, you know, it is going to do very, very well in a situation like this. Because, you know, as much as the Axis are grouped up, you also see that the Allies are very, very grouped up in this position across the centre of the map as well. And that strike is going to allow them to really, really push hard later on in the game. You know, they're going to have absolutely great support from that. If anything stays in the area, those planes drop bombs, they can do a lot of damage. You know, and relatively for munitions that you get, it's quite cheap. But I think we just saw another loss of conscripts for Talisman there, instantly rebuilding them as well. And nice use by the way. Olba Soldaten on the field. Olba Soldaten are going to really hammer through these engineers and conscripts. So very good pick there from Insanity. I'd say they're looking in a very good position right now.
Yeah, we have the Obas, but they have to take it. So we have a sniper from Talisman, have already 25 kills in the 2. Maybe the sniper gets some shots, but also you have to be very careful about the Obersoldaten. The Obersoldaten can wipe easily the Soviet sniper if you make one misstep and the Soviet sniper is dead. Also the infantry support gun is trying to get the sniper at the moment with his shots. So it's very low life Soviet snipers.
This is the shots though. What do you think about this Jagdpanzer IV that's coming in?
It is the best choice you can do, man. Jagdpanzer is the best tank you can get. It's better than Stuck.
It's definitely a good one. Like, the last game we were talking about how the Elephant and the Jagdtiger of course won't appear in this tournament due to the allowed commanders. But yeah, it's Jagdpanzer IV, great alternative, and of course with the stealth that you get too, it's going to be a really good late game unit to use on this map. A really nice pickup there by the way. LMG was picked up by the conscripts. These conscripts are vet 2 and I believe that gives them, is it 40% increased accuracy with their weapons? So actually having the LMG on that squad is very good now because they've got a very accurate LMG there. It makes the conscripts actually quite good as late game units, which is probably not something Toomey used to.
Interesting. I really saw that Toomey's going for a Katyusha because there are a lot of Maxims, MG43s and packs from the Axis player, but he didn't went for Katyusha, he went for a Su-85. Maybe to get line of sight in the middle, this is normal spotting scopes from the tank.
I think that's, to be honest, I do think that's sensible. I mean, when you got to tier 4, getting a Katyusha as the first unit can be a little bit risky. Huge mortar shot there on the Grenadiers. Look at that retreat that's had to be made. That's why you don't blob, kids. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to tech up to tier 4, I think, you know, you've not got any vehicles out before that, and you kind of need something that can deal with vehicles first. If you go for the Katyusha and someone rushes you, you don't have any vehicles of your own, you know, you may come into some serious problems. Look at that, Su-76 get taken down by Jagdpanzer IV and Rakettenwerfer. So huge losses coming in here for Talisman, who's left with the T-70 alone.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a 2 versus 2, so his second mate has one Soviet pack, the big Su-85, so they're still comparable with other tanks. A nice shot from before on the Maxim on the middle. Almost right. Wow! Just wiped it completely.
Here we go, by the way. We're seeing the sector assault from the OKW come in. So this is one, of course. The scout plane comes in first. There's a little bit of a weird dive. No one really knows what that plane is used for. And then hopefully we see the second one come in a second and just drop a load of bombs.
Whoa! The sniper's dead now. He killed the sniper.
Style. Oh no, he's not going to do it.
The OKW player killed the sniper with the strafe.
Oh nice, did it? I actually saw the strafe, I didn't see what it hit.
The sector RG from the Goliath, he killed the sniper full life. The strafe just killed it easily. Sadly, he was at 3, I guess, with 32 kills, something like that. And yeah, Talisman said, okay, we got my sniper, but in this work, I get a new sniper.
Sniper clearly a valuable unit to him. Nice incendiary grenade there, forcing shocks and conscripts out of a green cover position. The scout car comes in to provide a little bit of a support as well. Shock troops do have to retreat. Look at this though, Grenadiers from Legendary maybe coming in to finish off the shocks. Good synergy from Invictus there, managing to communicate the retreat paths with each other. That's what we were talking about earlier, that really comes through strong in this game. On the left side we do have Toomey trying to fend off this Panzer IV here. Nearly wipes the Grenadiers, which for some reason haven't retreated. Very low health there. Look at that long shot from the Panzer IV. Gets veterancy hitting the Su-85 at amazingly long range. Gotta say though, things still looking very, very good for Axis right now. Double vet scout car, going to be able to provide long range sight for the Jagdpanzer 4. Yeah, things looking very, very good on the Axis front.
Finally, to get the Katyusha. I think they really need it at the moment now to get some really nice shots with the Katyusha on it.
Yeah, it's a very... I still agree with the decision to not go Katyusha first. You know, but the more they play this game, you know, if they can just keep cornering Axis in, if they can keep getting them into that tiny little zone here where you see the scout car is at the moment, the Katyusha will do very, very well. Oh no, Toomey loses the conscripts with the LMG, and now the LMG has been dropped again, which means it can go back into the hands of the Axis, and I believe that the Grenadiers can actually pick up 2 LMGs. So that will be a very, very good LMG squad if they can pick up their second one.
A monster then.
I mean, even the Orbital Dart, I think, can pick up a second one. So I may be wrong about that, I'm not sure, but if the Orbital Dart can pick up that as well, that'll be an insane squad. Here we go, the Grenadiers are coming in for it, and hopefully they'll get it. It'll turn into a complete squad. Going for it.
Yeah, we see at the moment triple cap for Axis.
Maybe he can't get it then. He doesn't seem to be picking it. Oh no, there we go, he's got it, he's got it. I was worried then for a second that I had relayed wrong information to you, but fortunately I have not. This is one thing though that I find wrong for a Legendary, and he's made the classic mistake of moving his units up in a squad, like, you know, control keys there really. I bet that's just on, you know, control 1. Walking around on A move, but that Katyusha is going to make very, very short work of squads if he keeps using them like that.
Was a nice Katyusha bash, but still triple for Axis, and that's not what you want as allies to go on late game. Late game versus Axis is horrible at the moment. So it's looking good for Axis. On the left side they have the T4 protecting their own fuel and the victory point, kind of, so left side is completely safe for the Axis. So they can completely focus on the middle victory point and attacking the right victory point.
Now, I don't know if I do feel that that is safe, because the Su-85 is easily going to be able to deal with the Tier 4, and we're very, very close now to ISU. In fact, it has just been unlocked in CP, so it could be on the field. You know, Toomey is saving up for it. This could be on the field in the next, you know, minute and a half. So it's a going to be a bit of a game changer when the ISU comes in. You know, as long as they defend it well, it's going to be able to do good work against all the infantry. And again, this is where we see Axis starting to get holed up in that tiny area at the central of the area of the map. And then the Katyusha is going to start doing epic work. Look at this play here though, 18-8's going on the Panzer IV. Do we see the Su-85 lining up extra shots? No, it's going to go for the scout car, which now means Axis do not have that excessive sight through the center of the map that they had before. 4 squads of conscripts charging up through the center of the map. They're trying to take down the AT gun so the Su-85 can get in and deliver some shots to the Panzer IV. Will he get given the final kill? And also, is the Katyusha ready? Katyusha's firing right now. This could be a huge shot from the Katyusha. It's raining down. Are we going to see any squad wipes? No, looks like well micromanaged there. A lot of the squads managed to get out of the way of that barrage, which would have been absolutely brutal if the Katyusha had been a little bit closer.
The MG got recruited, so the veterans of the MG is away for Legendary from Katyusha. And wow, we see a Brombear Stormless. Legendary went up T3, T4 and going for a Brombear. That's great. We got all the Stukas shooting. Stuka wipes, nothing. Seems like he was trying to get with the Stuka the Katyusha, but it missed.
Whoa! Huge shot from the ISU, which is on the field now. And as that thing stalks up the battlefield, wipes a squad instantly on its first shot on the VP. So huge first plays. How many kills did that get in its first shot? 4 infantry killed immediately. So this is where I think the game starts to change for Axis. You know, they've had a very, very good lead in, managed to bring the allies down to 265 VPs, but it could all go wrong here. Fortunately, the Jagdpanzer 4 is on Vet 1. Needs to get Vet 2 for the stealth, and I think the stealth is going to be very, very useful in helping to deal with that. But what do we have here? Is that Panzer 4 going to try and dive the ISU. That would be a very, very dangerous idea at this point. It is protected. There we go, hits a mine, AT guns on it. The Su-85 also in the near area as well to try and help. But I think actually, here we go, ISU changing ammo types into the armor-piercing rounds. And no, look at that! No, Insanity blocks in the Panzer IV with his Jagdpanzer IV. What a terrible mistake there. Teamwork was not on the agenda at this point. He's actually just caused his teammate to lose his Panzer IV because of that decision. Su-85 does get a shot off on the Brumba. Conscripts are charging in, trying to get the 18 aid. Can they get a second brutal blow to the Axis?
Also, that finally, after 25 minutes, we see all 4 commander picks finished. For Legendary, he went air support, I guess. Yeah, with the Stuka dive bomb. And Tumi for the T-8045 and the PPSH for his conscripts.
I think, yeah, I mean, this has to be used in a very good way. The recon's going up at the moment, so I imagine that they're going to be using the Luftwaffe recon to spot where one of these are, and then he's going to go for the bombing strike. So let's just watch this carefully. This is going to be a pretty important moment. Now we're hearing the Katyusha fire again. It's going to go on the support area where we have the MG and the AT gun. Rumbar's actually the one to retreat though. No retreat on any of the infantry. The Luftwaffe recon is up. Are we seeing the Stuka bombing strikes getting called in at all? Actually not used it yet, so maybe he hasn't quite found the targets. There we go, it's just been called in. ISU is moving though.
On the right side, the W player nearly lost his Autosoldat, which is a great shot from the ISU. The ISU just wiped the Autosoldat.
Okay. Yeah, nice try with the Stuka dive bomb. I think he was going for a bluff there because it was actually aimed on the Su-85. It was the ISU that moved first, and I think that was good. You know, putting some pressure on Talisman and Tumi to kind of communicate that one to move, because it kind of is a given that he would have been aiming for the ISU. But of course, by not doing that, it's giving a little bit of a bluff to his opponent. Missing T-35, tried to get around the back of the Brumbear, forced away by the thought of the Pack 43. The Pack 40, sorry.
On the right side, almost the Jagdpanzer got it, but T-70 would be a huge loss because the Vet 370 is like the AC, and 222 is, you see everything on the map, and that's what at the moment Talisman is using. He's trying to get his T-70 as close as possible to the middle so he can see everything for his ISU.
Not sure moving this AT gun up against the ISU is a good idea. I think that's begging for it to be decrewed there. Talisman's going to be pushing up this Volksgrenadier squad with the T-70, going for the wipe. He does get it on the Volksgrenadiers, so whistling down the Axis opponents quickly. This is looking like a pretty good late game. The Jagdpanzer IV misses its opening shot from stealth, which would have been a pretty good blow to the T-70. There we go, 18 aid as well in the center, goes in on the Brumba. They're trying to clear out as many units in the middle as possible, and Allies only need to be careful here. They're starting to wither down the Axis forces, so they just need to play carefully. They do stand still a good chance of getting in this game for the late game. Stuka's rolling in, and again, this is dangerous. T-35 is not that far off. There we go, Katyusha's firing in on the point where the Stuka is. He's just going to try and get the return shot on the retreat path. It looks like he's trying to wipe units. Wipes the mortar squad from the Allies. And now we see Insanity. He's going to return with an OKW sector assault. We don't have any damage. There we go. Su-85 goes down. Nice by the Jagdpanzer IV. The engagements here are pretty furious at the moment. Both players trying to get brutal strikes and wipes off of their opponents. Now, this ability that's just been called in, the sector assault, really should be used with the reconnaissance overflight from Legendary. I mean, he needs to be giving the recon in order for this ability to work. And there we go. Nice bomb.
And again, it's the sniper. The sniper is again dead versus the sector attack.
Sector artillery is apparently the
Every
sniper
time.
count.
Yeah, it seems like every single time. And he just rebuilt the sniper again, Talisman. He said, I don't care, I get a new one.
Yeah, he really does love the sniper there. Here we're going to go T-70 trying to get another squad wipe again. This time the Panzer IV comes in to meet it. Talisman tried to bluff the Panzer IV then. Doesn't quite work. T-70 is now down. It's a bit of sight, kind of a vision spotter for the Allies that is no longer on the field. And the second Katusha coming
in the middle
in
we
as
see
well.
the airstrike. But airstrike missed from Tumi.
The one thing you do have to be careful about with sector assault is it's a bit of a kind of intermediary. I would say the sector assault is the sixth faction that KO2 doesn't have, because it basically has no allies. It will fire on you, your teammates, and your opponents. So you need to be really careful with sector assault. It bears no allegiance to any flag other than its own intentions. T-3485 on the left side, trying to take down Tier 4. Of course, the Stug, now Vet 1, comes in with some shots. He could use target weak point to stun it. He does! Now, actually, the T-3485 didn't receive any penalty from the weak point there. And it does manage to get away with a broken.
Used it.
It was odd, it seemed to get gun damage, but didn't quite do anything else. Tusha trying to weaken the MG through the center. Stuka went down somewhere, didn't quite see what it hit though. And Allies not quite able to get the cap. Oh, look at that! Sacrifices engineers for that to happen. The Stug is racing through the front lines, takes the Katusha down. Is he going to go though for the T-3485? It was just out of his range. Could also try now for the IS-2, sorry, the ISU, which is severely unprotected. Nothing really on the field is able to protect this right now. And there we go, Brumbar's coming in, the Jagdpanzer IV's coming in, dangerous territory for ISU right now. For some reason, Panzer IV has actually backed all the way off. This could be a great moment to go in for the ISU. Huge missed opportunities here.
Yeah, but it's a big loss for Tumi. He lost 2 Katyushas for nothing, so they have no indirect fire anymore. You need indirect fire in this map. It's most time the fight is in the middle victory point, so you need indirect fire, and they lost both Katyushas. While that, the Okadabu players still have a Stuka, so they have still up the indirect fire. NPC Legendary's getting a Hunter soon out, but he lost some Grenadiers. He's also building a Grenadier, so he has only 1 Grenadier left with their 2. He gets some Katyusha, kills some Grenadiers.
I mean, those Grenadier wipes have been brutal. Legendary has only 2 of them left after everything that he had earlier in this game. Somehow, like you know, he is still managing to survive. He's at least providing good vehicle support for Insanity, you know. But Insanity is kind of having to hold the front line at the moment. You know, Allies do kind of out-manpower their opponents at this point, and especially with the ISU there. I mean, that thing is just kind of tearing through infantry. It's a bit of a risky game all around. Nice to see Tier 4 still doing good work at protecting territory. Are we going to see a bombing strike here? Talisman has the IL-2 precision strike. Vision is now on the Tier 4 building. It could be used, but neither player really communicates to use that ability yet. Perhaps they're saving it for something else. I don't know. This would be a really good time to use that airstrike though. We do have the AT gun in there providing support as well. Where's that Stuka firing? Right on the central VP. Doesn't manage to get any wipes though.
Moment we have to perform the right side, but I guess he's scared of 2 bits there. Yeah, I guess there's like he tries to kill MG in the house, but then just sure.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Engagements going on all over the map. The ISU looks like it's got armor-piercing shells on at the moment. We'll be able to deal with the Panzer IV. Stealthed Jagdpanzer IV, though, moving up the field a little bit, trying to deal with any armor that's moving up. And this T-3485 is being very, very ballsy. Vet 1 now. I think he was trying to go for the Brumbear there, not quite confident enough at the moment. One of the AT guns depoted as well, so it doesn't have the kind of AT power he needs to move up against the armor that Axis have at the moment. ISU diving pretty deep on the right-hand side. He's going to go for long shots, tries to target the Jagdpanzer IV. Neither of them can actually fire over the elevated area in the center on that munitions point. So it's good. It's pretty aggressive play from the Allies. However, you know, this could be nice here. We've got a Vet 5 squad of Volksgrenadiers that could have gone in for a Faust on the ISU. It's rear armor facing at the moment. It could be a huge play, but again, the ISU is probably going to walk away, you know, with no problems. And it's a shame, really, because there's been some really good opportunities to deal with the IS2. Sorry, ISU. I've got to stop saying IS2. It's ridiculous. You know, so many opportunities.
We have Tusha for and as you already said, they finally killed the T4 from the W player with the bombing strike and some pipe shots. So the left side is now a little bit more open for the Allies to capture everything. At the moment, Allies was managed to get victory points back. We got short time to victory points, but Axis saying nope, we attack as well.
Look at this dive coming in through the center for the Stug and the Panther. Now, I think this is actually really, really dangerous, because let's just consider for a second that these AT mates can come in from the conscripts. Both the Panther and the Stug, you know, are already damaged. So let's see how they deal with this. The Stug is trying to go the long way around at the moment. The Panther is quite content to just charge through the base. But there we go. ISU, they managed to pop smoke. But this is what I was worried about. Panther takes engine damage now, and the ISU with the gun repaired could be pretty brutalized on the rear engine. There we go. T-35 is actually coming in to do that. We have the incendiary strike from the Luftwaffe raining down to try and stop any more conscripts from getting involved. The T-35 is going to deal with the Panther in this situation. And there we go. Engine damage now on the Stug. This is going to be chased down by the T-35. A great comeback. What a counter to that push there. And what a bad decision for Axis. That was really stupid.
Legendary was way too greedy. They really want to get this ISU, but it's not worth it to use a Stug and a Panther for it. And almost both Soviet packs to the Stuka.
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrible trade. And again, you know, it's kind of Legendary that's making these mistakes here at the moment. He's already lost pretty much all of his infantry and is having to rebuild those. Now he's thrown pretty much the only armor that he had, leaving Insanity to fend off the ISU and the hordes of infantry that are raining up from the Allies at the moment. AAT guns seem to be doing pretty well against the Panther 4 as well, so, you know, this balance at the moment starting to go in favor of the Allies.
What a nice rifle in the middle right Soviet takes out. It's one rifle nade. This means Tumi lost the Soviet pack. Actually, maybe can protect one as well.
Yeah, this is nice. Well dealt with by the Axis there. It's nice, of course. Legendary does have the MG through the center still. We're now seeing a Sturmovik air strike come in on the center. May actually do some serious damage to these Grenadiers. Need to be so careful. Jesus Christ. They've got to get out as soon as that airstrike marker comes down, because the Sturmovik can do insane wipes to those infantry. ISU fully repaired now. Going to be trying to mark targets through the center of the map. This is really the thing that they need to deal with, and I totally understand why they would want to dive to go into it, but bear in mind, you know, they haven't dove on the 2 times that the IS2, sorry, oh my god, I said it again. The 2 times that the ISU should have been dealt with, you know, they haven't made that decision to go in, and the one time it was completely inappropriate, we find them charging through the center of the map. Crazy, crazy stuff.
Inside Newbie decided to get a new T4 on the left fuel just to protect the fuel and the victory point. He places it almost on the same position on the left side.
I do really, really like the tier 4 being there though. I think that's quite beneficial.
Definitely.
Even not just to, you know, for a little bit of extra air support, you know, against the Sturmovik. I mean, it's also very good at controlling that VP. It creates that extra bit of pressure for Allies to have to do something against. Kubel went down there as well, I think to the ISU.
Yeah, I guess it was the Soviet pack in the middle. Killed it. Has one recall kill.
Nice use of the Stupid there, wipes the AT gun. Now there maybe is an opportunity for a push from the Axis armor. Look at this Katusha strike on the middle. Doesn't look like Legendary hits the retreat button straight away. There we go, manages to save his infantry a little bit. Shock troops trying to go in now to try and cap whilst the Katusha's forced everything away. And here we have the Stug trying to take on the 85. The 85 manages to take advantage of the fixed turret from the Stug, but thanks to the VP there, has to take a path which allows the turret to fire again. Can he get round the back of it? He doesn't want to, I don't think, because he doesn't want to overextend, but he does want to try and kill that Stug. It's reversing into the smoke. Blocked again by the Brumba, which prevents it from retreating. But here we go, 85 manages to deflect the shot from the Brumba, doesn't go down. There we go. Finally 85's down. Nice little pickup from Axis there, gives him a little bit of time to breathe. Stug didn't actually die. How much health does that have? It doesn't actually have, it doesn't have any health whatsoever on its health bar.
Okay, that's a bug, I guess, but on the right side, we saw a full life ISU going down for Talisman. With, I guess it was the sector attack again from a OKW player. On the right side, the ISU is dead.
The enemy has killed another infantry.
At the moment, it's looking great for the Axis. They have 332 victory points left, and Allies only 89, and almost no tanks available for Allies. Actually, yeah, Allies have only one Katyusha, that's all they have. And now Talisman is getting a new ISU, but to be honest, I don't think that the new ISU will win the game.
No, I mean, it's a shame that the last one went down. I didn't actually catch it on camera because I was following the T-3485. Katyusha once again abandons that Stug. That's been abandoned twice now. There we go, finally gets the kill on it as well. Axis, yeah, I mean, they're getting pushed back quite heavily. I don't think the ISU is a good choice now, though, against the Jagdpanzer 4. Jagdpanzer 4 seems to have gotten strong enough to be able to deal with that ISU quite effectively. So, I mean, really, kind of the focus, I guess, could have been on indirect fire and AT guns.
You are showing weakness. We are down to
At the moment, we
75
have
points.
for the Talisman, he has 2 conscripts, 1 pioneer, and his ISU. Only 30 popcat, that's not much anymore, so there's a small army only on the field. While there's the OKW player, Insanely have 92 popcat, okay, now 88. And the Jagdpanzer is getting some side armor shots under ISU at 3 Jagdpanzer already.
Yeah, ISU needs to be so careful. It pretty much can't go up the right side until the Jagdpanzer 4 has been dealt with. And they're going to struggle really hard to do that unless they can get maybe engine damage on the Jagdpanzer 4 and then maybe finish it off with a IL-2 bombing strike. But I just don't know how they can do that now. Munitions have been spent, mistakes have already been made.
Victory is slipping from our grasp.
Yeah, triple cap now, only 50 victory points left for the Allies. What they can do.
Yeah, it's a tough
Brumba
one.
out, before Jagdpanzer 4, Stuka, Incendiary is getting more at Puma. Maybe have to get the ISU again. Puma's a fast, small tank and can get behind the ISU.
I don't know, it may be that, it may even be for the Katyusha. You know, would be really nice. I think it has the smoke available, yeah, when it's in the battlefield straight away. So I mean, it could be really good for just kind of dodging around tanks, using the smoke and just getting into the Katyusha to remove that from the game. But, the Katyusha's a big worry. You know, if you get the right Katyusha strike, it could be absolutely devastating. Panzerwerfer is down as well, trying to cover the central VP. Looks like we've got a big moment in here. Allies are going to try and do something to steal this. Brumba, for some reason, reversing into the engagement. Not sure what I think about that. The 85 is crushing it. Huge strike from the Katyusha. Wipes loads there, but is it going to be enough? The 85 has gone down. Mid wasn't captured. ISU is going to try and remove as many units as possible for the game, but where is the Jagdpanzer 4 and all this? There it is, finally managing to line up some shots on the ISU. The Panzer 4 is coming around, manages to find the back of the AT guns as well. It's not going to take an 18-aid engine damage from these conscripts because it's already got enough health to survive it. The Puma's taking shots. AT gun manages to turn on the Panzer 4. It looks like he's not microing it really. For some reason choosing to retreat, but there we go. ISU goes down. There really isn't any hope for Allies anymore. 3 VPs on the table. It is GG, and well played, Invictus.
Yep, definitely. It's great play. So let's hope for the second game maybe. If they can turn it back.
Yeah, that was a really nice game there, and such a change from the first one, because that actually, you know, the Finnish Pride Parade looked quite strong in game 1, and because of that disconnect
Yeah,
from the
I
Relic
have to agree
servers,
that.
you know, they've
Yeah.
you know, they've changed the faction, and it's worked absolute wonders for them. You know, like it's been brilliant. So well played
Ah.
to Invictus there. They did really well.
Yeah, the OKW